Hey again. It's Friday the 13th, so I had to do a video in honor of that. Trying a different locale today instead of being down in my messy basement. I figured I'd sit up here in my living room area. This is my kitchen table. This was where the giant tree was in this spot, the Army of Darkness poster behind me. So it's out in the backyard waiting to be chucked into the fire pit right now. So something a little different, a little bit familiar, a little bit more on another chapter in the I Am Legend saga. This is the big kick-ass three DVD box set. My sister got me this for Christmas, and haven't even opened it yet. Haven't had a chance to watch it, but more in the I Am Legend story. There's sort of a prequel part to it. This is a magazine I read called Rue Morgue, Canadian publication. So I don't know how widely available it is in the States. It's got a U.S. cover price on it, so I'm assuming you can get it in the States. I just don't know how many different places. But this magazine is awesome, by the way. If anybody's like big into horror, this is the magazine. It's a lot of movies, mostly movies, but it covers more horror as a complete genre. So there's lots of movies, old and new. There's TV shows. There's video games, books, comics, toys, all sorts of crap. So this is it's a monthly publication, and it kicks ass. I don't subscribe to it. I pick it up every couple of months, but if you like horror, grab this because it's got tons of stuff in it. This is an issue from October of 2006. It's got a big feature article about Italian horror director Lucio Fulci. Neat article, though. Covered a lot of stuff. One of the neat things about this issue, though, was this one article about books. It was like 50 of the most underrated horror novels, and most of them I had never heard of. I read one of them that I can remember. But anyways, a couple of them really kind of stood out for me. One of them was called The House on the Borderland by William Hope Hodgson, written in 1908. And I know you can't see this, but this is the little banner about that book. Sounded interesting. Sounded kind of I Am Legend-ish. It's about a guy in this sort of a old abandoned house castle in the middle of Ireland, and it's obviously written in 1908, so it's early century. But he lives alone. He lives with his sister's kind of the housekeeper maid, and weird stuff starts happening. And it's sort of this house that's on this interdimensional portal. And at the beginning of the book, he starts being attacked nightly by these like half pig, half human creatures that attack his house every night. And he spends sort of the first half of the book like barricading himself in his house, and every day he's got to wake up and sort of survey the damage done during the night. And it very much reminded me of I Am Legend. And I've never found any kind of direct connotation between I Am Legend by Richard Matheson and this, but who knows, he might have read it. So one thing I thought was kind of cool about it is it had a quote by H.P. Lovecraft, like one of those little kind of cover quotes, read this book by H.P. Lovecraft, which I thought was cool because any book that's endorsed by H.P. Lovecraft himself, like, that's gold. That's like having your own Catholic church endorsed by Jesus before he died. So anyways, there's another magazine, another issue. This is the August 2007, and again, they have this classic cut section at the back. It's always about like a classic book. Again, House on the Borderland by William Hope Hodgson, and this is a little bit more of a feature article about the whole book. Interesting guy, William Hope Hodgson. Led a very interesting life. 1877 to 1918. Died in Belgium, I think. In 1918, he was enlisted in the British Army, and he died in the First World War. Yeah, had done some interesting things, and some other interesting books. I've never read them. I've only heard of them as per these articles. They sound interesting, though. Oh yeah, in this article here, although Borderland is not cited as a direct influence, Richard Matheson's I Am Legend and George Romero's Night of the Living Dead bear remarkable similarities. And I agree with that, because there's a lot in the part about the pigs attacking him in this house that it very much reminded me of you know, those sort of in the house under siege themes of I Am Legend and zombie movies and such. This is the newest issue. I just picked this up. The feature article is My Bloody Valentine 3D, which I haven't seen yet, but sounds kind of interesting. So anyways, I read these articles a while ago, promptly forgot all about them. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was looking online, and I decided, hey, I'll check out the Rue Morgue website, which, oddly enough, I'd never done before. So I found their website, and one of the they have this article about the 50 most underrated horror novels as like a feature article on the webpage. So I went back through it and was scanning over it again, and again that title popped out at me, that House on the Borderlands. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and track this book down. I wrote down a few books that sort of caught my attention, but that was the one that I really wanted to find. And I went to Kohl's bookstore. I don't know if you guys know Kohl's. I think Indigo, Chapters, and Kohl's are all kind of the same store. But in a couple of the malls here where I live, there's a Kohl's bookstore, and they have nowadays, which I think is really cool, they have the little laptop computer set up there where you can check the store database to see if they've got certain books in, and they can tell you exactly how many they have in stock, or if you have to go to another store or whatever. But lo and behold, they had House on the Borderland, which tragically has the most horrendous cover art I think I've ever seen for you know, a horror book. Looks like it should be, I don't know, like Welcome Back, Kotter or something. I got the image of like a 1970s schoolhouse when I saw this cover. I don't know why. I'm only halfway through it right now. I haven't read the whole thing. But yeah, like as I said before, the first section where he's being besieged by these half-pig creatures is very, very reminiscent of the siege scenarios in I Am Legend and the others that followed suit. So anyways, if you're, you know, at all interested, you can find this book. It is out there. It's actually a pretty easy read for having been written in 1908. I'm used to turn of the century literature being a little heavier, a little harder to get through. But this one actually is. It almost seems like it's, you know, a very modern writer trying to write as though he were, you know, a turn of the century author. So good so far. Another kind of interesting little tidbit about that, one of the books in this article was called The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks, and that was another one of the books that I had written down in hopes of being able to find. And on the weekend, when I went and bought this, I went to one of the other like big box bookstores we have here called McNally Robinson. And right when you walk in, there's the horror section, the sci-fi section, and then this huge section of magazines. And in the middle of that, they have a big markdown section. And the very first stack of books I found in the markdown section was The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks, which, great, I got it for $5, but I just thought it was very kind of strange and eerie that all of a sudden I wanted this book, and it was like one of the, literally the first stack of books I looked at was the book I was looking for. Just kind of like, how often does that happen? So, but I just bought this. I still haven't finished this yet, and I'm currently reading 2 other books as well. So I gotta try and pare my pile down a little bit. But if it's good, I'll recommend it. If not, I'll let you know that it sucked. But it sounds very interesting. The articles I read about it and the little blurb on the back sounds fairly intriguing. So, but I will let you know. So until then, happy Friday the 13th. Happy Valentine's Day for those of you that are into that sort of schmaltz, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm gonna run around and shut my camera off, so peace out.